And welcome to week 2 of online learning. Thank you to everyone who has finished and submitted their work for last week. This week we will continue looking at influences and perceptions. So perceptions, if you can recall from last week, was maybe the way you see, feel, or hear certain factors that will help you decide whether a place is livable or not. So if you looked at that image, you were giving me your perception or your opinion whether or not that was a livable place. Just before we begin, we will be having a Zoom lesson sometime this week, okay? Quite possibly at least once this week, and another lesson again next week. We will go through the work together as a class, and I will catch up with you to see how you are coping with the work. So your work for this week is down below. So I understand some of us still need to catch up from last week, so the work for this week has been altered and has been minimized so that you can catch up on any incomplete work from last week as well. So, activity 1, human factors that influence perceptions of livability include culture, income, employment, crime, and safety. When we're talking about human factors, we're talking about factors that come from us, so not the environment. So we influence culture, we influence income, the money we earn, or where we work, and how safe or how dangerous a place can be based on crime. So human rights such as freedom, the availability of goods and services, personal safety, education, healthcare, culture, recreation, employment, political and economic stability, public transportation, they all influence an individual's perception of livability. Experiencing technical difficulties here. And we're back. So in the table below, I want you to research and record definitions for the key factors below. So for culture, I want you to write a definition for what culture may be, what income is, what employment is, and what crime and safety's definition would be. Okay, try and rewrite the definition you find in your own words. Okay, you can simplify it as much as you want. And I would prefer that rather than you copying and pasting the first definition you find on Google, because that most likely will be wrong. Okay, so when you find a definition, try to rewrite it in your own understanding. Next, you need to use the Manly and Redfern comparative study below to complete this table. You will need to copy the important information that has been provided to you on both the suburbs of Manly and Redfern. You should also look at the images provided to write more information about these suburbs in your table. So this is optional, but it is encouraged. You may want to also conduct some of your own research to add more information to your comparative table on Manly or Redfern. You can include population, religions, employment types, and crime rates. So if you were to type in population of Liverpool, okay, or population of Redfern, sorry, not Liverpool, and that can give you a dot point there. If you were to type in religions in Redfern, okay, you can write that there. Employment types in Manly or crime rates in Manly, write that down in here. Okay, but I would want you to use this link first. And read through the information to take down some notes in your table. So I'll quickly read through the notes. Manly is a beachside suburb of northern Sydney in the state of New South Wales. It is 17 kilometres northeast of the Sydney Central Business District. So you know where the Centrepoint Tower is, Darling Harbour, Circular Quay. Okay, we refer to that as the CBD of Sydney, the Central Business District, because that's where all the big businesses and towers where maybe some of your parents work are located. Manly is the 25th richest suburb in Australia. 52% of people who live there were born in Australia. 12% were born in England, 4.1 New Zealand, 2.1 the US, 1.5 in South Africa, and a variety of other countries. So if you've been to Manly Beach before, that's what it looks like. And this is a photo of Sydney Harbour going past Fort Denison all the way down to Manly. Okay, so you catch a ferry to get to Manly. This is a nice home in Manly, probably worth about $5 million, possibly. And this is the main parade, or the main street that goes towards Manly Beach. Okay, maybe the equivalent of that would be going towards Liverpool Mall. Okay, Bradford, on the other hand, is located 3 kilometres south of the Sydney CBD. That is like going from All Saints Liverpool campus to All Saints Casula campus. So that's how close Redfern is to the Sydney CBD. Redfern has a population of 12,035 people, with Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people making up 2.4% of that population. 50.8% of the population in Redfern were born overseas, and the population of a suburb spans a broad spectrum of socio-economic characteristics, meaning that in that suburb alone, there is a big gap between the people who may be rich as opposed to those who are poor. So there's a lot of walks of life of people who live in Redfern. So there are some people who may be dependent on government assistance, and there are some people who might be well off and who work quite a bit and can afford to live quite easily. And you can see here one of the main strips or main streets in Redfern, okay, home of the South Sydney Rabbitohs, and these are what some of the homes in Redfern look like. So they might not be the best looking homes, but today the prices of these homes are more than the prices of houses in Liverpool, okay, because of their location, so their proximity, or how close they are to the city. Okay, if you were to catch a train to the city from Liverpool, it might take you 45 minutes to an hour. If you were to catch a train from Redfern, you'll be at Central Station in about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, you'd probably still be holding your Opal card because that's how quick you'll be to tap off once you get to the city. So, going back now to our work, you'll use that information to fill in this table below. I then want you to take this quiz. Okay, so for lesson 4, take this quiz to find out which suburb is most suitable for you in Sydney. Okay, I might start the quiz and give you an example. So, pick your top 5 preferences. Cafe restaurants. Ocean views. Beach nearby. Public transport and low crime. Skip to results. Milson's Point. If you want to know where Milson's Point is, or Kirribilli, Cronulla, Lavender Bay, and McMahon's Point. I actually like McMahon's Point. That's probably my favourite place in Sydney. Okay, if you want to see what that place looks like, McMahon's Point. Okay, this is McMahon's point. You have a view of the Harbour Bridge. Okay, and Milson's point is on this side of the Harbour Bridge. Okay, pretty much where Luna Park is. And take a screenshot of your result and put it here. Your last task is to fill in the table below. You need to copy the same numbers into the table. So if you look at Melbourne, Melbourne has been completed for you. This is known as the livability index. The livability index gives us an indication or lets us know how livable a place is. So they give it a score. So 100 is the highest score you can get. So for stability, that is based on government or how well the government meets the people's needs. Healthcare, that refers to your hospitals and doctors' services. Culture and environment, that refers to the multiculturalism as well as the environmental features within that city. Education is access to education, so high schools, primary schools, childcare, universities, colleges, TAFEs, etc. And infrastructure refers to any building projects or roads, houses, shopping centers, churches, etc. They are all considered under infrastructure. So these 5 indicators are added together, and then their score is divided by 5 to give you the overall rating or the average rating. So what you need to do is you need to look for Adelaide, Sydney, Perth, and Brisbane and refer to the table above and add the information below into this table. Okay, once you have completed this, if you're yet to complete any work from last lesson, can you please go back and complete that now as well, and then submit your work. I will post the Zoom link later on today and at what time we'll be having our Zoom meeting. If you do not have Zoom installed yet on your laptop, can you please let me know? Okay, just write a post on the classroom page and I will upload a video on how to install Zoom on your laptops. Okay, thank you. Have a good day. Stay safe. God bless.